Now, tonight's adventure into the unknown.
Shut up and sit down.
Joey used to work for Lockheed Martin.
Yeah.
I want to ask him about that.
Hello?
There you are.
Yay.
Ooh, I think that sounds even better.
That does sound better.
Yeah, that works, right? That's
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
That's a real microphone. That costs money.
I know.
Yeah, that's golden.
There's times we have guests on here that have podcasts as well, and they never use their equipment. They're always like on a cell phone or something, and I'm always thinking like, oh, cool, they're going to be able to use their equipment, so audio is going to be awesome on their end, and that's never the case.
Yeah, I know. I should buy one of those portable podcast things, but
the Zooms
I just
or
do it
whatever.
here at my desk with this microphone, and it seems to work well.
Oh, you're coming in good on our end. Let me do an audio check again real quick.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Did you hear the fucks?
That's going to be my new walk-on music.
You should use that. That's awesome.
I'm actually going to use that as I'm going on stage.
Yeah, instead of when you're walking off stage. Like,
Exactly.
it'll confuse the audience. They won't know what's coming. I like
What?
it.
He's out? Like, we're just
What's
starting.
this dude all about?
I like it.
That's funny. And then have the MC announce you as you're leaving the stage.
Yeah, exactly.
So don't even say who you are. You know, coming to the stage, Alonzo Bodden. Have them say that as you're leaving. You don't know what the fuck's going on.
Which reminds me of an old joke I did on my first Showtime special. And this is a true story. A person got past security at Newark Airport by walking into the exit backwards.
Shut up. Really?
They pulled the old Bugs Bunny trick.
What?
And it worked. Yeah, it
Wow.
worked. They had to shut down the airport a while and find them. Yeah, they just walked backwards through the exit and they got in.
That's crazy. They're like, this person's super confusing. We're just going to let him do what he wants to do.
Wow, okay.
Bugs Bunny did it many a time. It always works.
Well, we haven't given formal introductions here.
Yeah,
I
we
suppose.
haven't.
Hello, Alonzo. They call me Sarge.
And I am Frenzy, Melissa Frenzy. Nice to chat with you, finally.
Nice to talk to you both. Now, Sarge, do you know the other Sarge, the comic down in Florida? Do you know him?
No,
or of him?
No, I don't.
Oh, yeah, he's a comic. He I think he just does cruises now. He used to be in L.A. He was on radio for a minute, and then he went to Florida. I haven't talked to him in years, but there is more than one Sarge. But don't worry, there's only one here, and you're it.
Okay, all right. I was a little nervous.
There's only one Minnesota Sarge.
I thought Sarge was so original. But yeah, welcome to the show. We're fans of yours.
Yes.
I appreciate it. And I miss Minnesota. I was supposed to get there 2 years ago. I had an accident the week before I was supposed to come, and I canceled at the House of Comedy. I think they got mad at me because they've never booked me since.
Oh, we should go yell at them.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
That's a shame. So when was the last time you were in Minnesota?
Let's see. Probably the year before that. So I'd say 15. Yeah.
Okay.
Probably 15.
What's your as a seasoned veteran comedian, very successful comedian? What is your opinion of the Minnesota comedy scene?
Well, I know it has a great scene, and you know what's the name of the big club?
Acme.
Yeah.
Yeah, Acme. Acme is one of the old, you know, iconic clubs in the comedy biz, right? Mm-hmm. And I worked there a couple of times after I did Last Comic, and I had a great time. But I'll tell you, this is my favorite story about Minnesota and how great the comedy scene is there. When I was a judge for Last Comic for season 5,
Yep.
we went all around the country, and every city had a certain amount of slots for the semifinals, and obviously LA and New York got the most slots. I think they each got 10.
Okay.
And I think in Minnesota they might have got 5 or 6. There were so many great comics in Minneapolis that they were telling them, hey, go to Phoenix and try out again. Like they didn't budget for the number of comics in Minneapolis. There were more great comics in Minneapolis than there were in New York, auditioning for the show.
That's super cool.
Would not have thought that.
Yeah, we turned down some guy named Lil Rel. I think he stayed in the business. I think he's done something.
I'll have to look that one up. Lil Rel.
Is it REL?
Yeah, Lil Rel, as in the star of the movie Get Out, and he's got a new sitcom on CBS.
I was just going to say, they've got that new show called Rel.
Yeah, Rel is great. Yeah, when I saw him, after he had moved to LA, I said, listen, man, I don't know if you remember me, but I got to apologize. And he just laughed about it. He's very cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You actually won season 3 of Last Comic Standing, right?
Yes, way back when. But there are comics now that weren't even born when I won Last Comic Standing.
That's crazy. And you were on season 2 as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
I was a runner-up on season 2. Heffron won season 2. Hef and I have a long history of competing against each other, which he reminded me of. Some of it I had forgotten. We competed on Star Search when they did the Star Search remake in the early 2000s, and Arsenio Hall was the host.
Wow.
Hef and I, we went up against each other on that. When we got to Last Comic Standing, we were roommates at our audition in Vegas, and we ended up making it all the way to the finals, and he won season 2. I was runner-up. Then season 3, we made it all the way to the finals and reversed the order. I was the winner, and he was runner-up. And then we agreed to never compete again in anything in life.
Well, you should change that, because we've been talking about getting him on our show. Him and I have communicated a bunch of times.
Love
and
Heffron.
It's you comedians. Like, you have a hard time settling down with a date, and that's okay. But I'm persistent.
Yeah.
That's why we all have agents and managers.
It's not competition. Yeah. Actually, now he and I are neighbors.
Oh, funny.
Nice.
Yeah, we are neighbors now. We live, a couple of miles from each other. But Hef and I have always been friends.
That's
always.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to give him shit now.
Wasn't season 2 and 3? There were a lot of other big names on those seasons, weren't there?
3 and 4.
We would argue, and many others would argue, that season 2 was the best season the show ever had. The lineup was in no particular order. Mm-hmm. Me, Heffron, Gary Goldman, Todd Glass, Kathleen Madigan. Let's see, who else did we have? Corey Holcomb, Bonnie McFarland, Tammy Pescatelli,
Ant,
and Jay London. That was the 10.
That's a lot of great people.
Those are some heavy hitters in that lineup. Wow,
heavy hitters. There was no. We didn't have any holes in the lineup.
Yeah,
It was like, I used to always challenge Gary Goldman. We had to do that thing. I know I'm funnier than blank, right?
Yeah.
And Gary was like, how come you always throw me under the bus? I said, well, considering Kathleen has 16 Tonight shows, 2 one-hour specials, and Female Comic of the Year, I'm going to go against the cookie guy.
The cookie guy. I love it.
I love Kathleen. It's a beast. Kathleen was a beast back then, and she's only, her status has only grown. I love Kathleen, but all of us, we were all friends, and it frustrated the producers of the show because they were trying to create fights and tension between us, and a lot of times they couldn't. Me and Gary being that perfect example. Like we competed against each other, but it's not like we, you know what I mean? We're not trashing each other. We both know what the show is about. We just want to do spots in primetime TV.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard stories about how those early seasons of Last Comic Standing, the producers were treating it way too much like a reality TV show, trying to create scenarios and add drama and all that bullshit.
Yeah, like a reality, like way more
Right,
reality
'cause
show.
We had the reality element of having lived together. You know, we had to live together in that castle.
Right.
And it was a pain, but you know how comics are. What do comics do during the day? Lay around and read.
Yeah.
You know, just like they were like, you guys are boring. It's like, no, we waiting to go on stage. This is what we do, you know.
Yeah.
This is how we prep.
It did frustrate them.
That's funny.
Yeah, they expect a bunch of wacky shenanigans to be going on with all these comedians just crammed in, forced to live together. And that's not really the reality of it, is it?
Yeah, it sounds like a summer camp nightmare.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and the other thing is they didn't televise some of the funniest moments we had that are comic moments, right? Mm-hmm. Like there was a fire pit outside, and we would just sort of gravitate there, sit around the fire pit and talk. So Hef came up with this game. It's called 10. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it. I don't know if he invented it or where he knew it from or whatever. But anyway, you start out you have to tell 10 facts about yourself, starting with the most innocuous fact and each one becoming more intimate.
Oh, shit.
Oh, I like it.
So I might start out, I'm Alonzo. I'm from New York City, and Tammy might say, I got 2 brothers and sisters or whatever. And so we're going around and around, and I'm going after Jay London now you got to remember Jay was of a different world. Jay London, I love him. He's a sweetheart of a guy, but you weren't sure, is this a comic or a homeless guy? Right. So totally. We're going round and round. So
a few comics.
I'll never forget this. We're at number 6. Now remember, there's 10. At number 6, Jay said, yeah, sometimes I get these depressions. I hate myself, and I just I'll rip out pubic hairs with pliers. And we were like, that's your number 6? Like, you got 5 more than that? We quit.
We're out.
If that's your number 6, you win. We're done.
Yeah, shit's about to get dark.
Shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
And they didn't televise any of that. One night, me and Hef were bored to tears, and we were trying to build a raft to float across the moat. Remember, it's a castle, and we're grabbing like I don't know where we got the wood from. It was like something in the house made of wood that we took apart. And we're 2 idiots, right? He's from Michigan, I'm from New York. We don't know how to lash together a raft. He's from Detroit.
It's like a fireplace mantle.
And everyone was just laughing at us because Hef is such a kid. He has such a kid energy. And again, they didn't televise any of that. There were a bunch of things like that. They looked for fights where there weren't any, and they didn't broadcast funny where there was plenty of funny.
Yeah, they just wanted the drama.
Well, it seems like no matter what the theme is for a reality TV show, it's like they're trying to gear it towards, stay-at-home moms. People that are that just whoever's at home during the day and that just eats up all these drama.
Yeah,
TV
they do
shows.
that because if you think about it, when they show clips of things like latest on Last Comic Standing, they'll show something that's totally not irrelevant, but they make it seem like, well, they're probably going to get in a fight. But then you actually watch the episode, like the preview portion, and then you actually watch the episode, and it's like that didn't even happen. Like
there's a very obvious basic template for reality TV shows. It's all the exact same fights and the exact same drama. Just pick your scenario. Pick your setting and characters. You can switch them up.
I think it was best described by Kathleen when she said, this is not fuck, fight, or walk, which is the basic formula for every reality show.
I like that.
Yeah, I think people look for the drama because they don't have that drama in their lives, and they want to create it somehow. And Jay Moore, who was one of the creators of the show and the host back when I did it, he made a great point because we were saying, why does the winner get all the money? Why isn't there steps in the money? Not that I'm complaining because I won and I got all the money. But he said that people who watch a show, and this is why they do this on all reality shows, they want to see all or nothing. They don't want to see 3 winners walk away with money. Uh-huh. So on Last Comic, they want to see one comic, The Biggest Loser. They don't want to see the guy who lost 50 pounds and then the woman who lost 30 and the guy who lost 10. It's like, no, we want the one guy who lost the most, or woman, whatever, lost the most weight. They get all the money, So it works. I mean, they feed into the drama, and people who study these things and follow the numbers and all that, they know, and this is how they do it.
What about in sports though? You got to have the winner take all when it comes to sports. You can't be.
Yeah. That is what the drama is. Absolutely, the drama is winner take all. Yeah, that's what people want to see. So it works.
I love
Comedy
it.
Obviously is subjective, right? It depends on, what the likability is. Huge. Mm-hmm. And it also sometimes it just depends on literally what material did you pick on a given night.
Yeah.
You could have the funniest comic in the world do the wrong set for the wrong crowd.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And then it's like, well, you just got eliminated,
Yeah,
so.
we had a comedian on one time that he made this quote. He said that because we asked him, I think we asked him something about his worst bombing, the worst time he ever bombed or something like that, and he claimed to have, I think, never really truly bombed. And he said that or we asked if he had any bad crowds, something like that, and he said a good comedian never blames the crowd. And I disagreed with him on that too. Because you can definitely have a shitty crowd, or you can, material that would work with one crowd can completely bomb with another one.
Yeah, I understand, but I understand what he's saying. When I was coming up, this guy told me, I used to do this comedy workshop, and he said, never blame the crowd. It's your job to find them.
Mm.
Right.
So
recover.
So I understand that, like, it's not a bad crowd, but bombing, I think this is going to sound crazy. I wish I'd bombed more when I was new at it.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people that was relatively funny right out the gate. I would get laughs. And I had some friends who would bomb, but they worked at it and they learned it. And I think they learned a few tricks that I didn't learn because I had the crowd laughing. Not that I hadn't bombed. Believe me, I bombed. I've been booed off stages. My hometown, New York, and literally in my neighborhood, they didn't just boo me off the stage. They booed me out of the building into the street.
Oh my God. Okay,
I know how that feels.
I want to hear a story about that. But first, I'm curious, because you saw, at least some semblance of success right off the bat. Do you think that made you lazy in any way, or that when it came to busting your ass, and writing and working hard?
Because one of the things I was lucky to have experienced in the beginning, right? My first job in comedy was doorman at the Laugh Factory. I did the Laugh Factory in Hollywood. What you do, you have to line up about noon on Tuesday, and you wait your turn till 8 o'clock at night, and you can't leave. You got to stay in the line. I mean, you can go to the bathroom, but other than that, you got to stay in line all day, and you do 3 minutes. So Jamie Masada, the owner, gave me a job as a doorman. He said, listen, I need a doorman, and when people don't show up, you can do spots, right? So I was like, oh, man, this is great. So I got to be at the Laugh Factory and watch Damon Wayans working out material, George Wallace, George Lopez, Dom Herrera. I mean, every night, these were the lineups. These were the guys. So I got that education, but I also, it set my personal bar so high. Like, man, I want to be great.
Oh,
I want to be like these guys. You know what I mean? It was like, I want to be that funny. So that was always my goal, and I don't know if I haven't, reached their level financially, but I get the respect of all of those guys. And that's one of the things I love. I think that's a great thing about being a comic. Like, you might not be as rich as the other comics backstage, or you may not have had the sitcom or the movie, but when you get on stage, or when you're invited to perform on a show that that they're at, then I got the respect. I reached that level. So but that was always where my bar was. My bar was to try to be a great comic. So I don't think it held me back or anything like that.
Yeah, well, I there's plenty of comics that have a TV show or did have a TV show or whatnot that, yeah, they have a big fat bank account thanks to that sitcom, but definitely don't have the respect of their peers of the comedy community. So, I mean, the bank account and that respect as a comedian definitely are not on level playing fields,
Yeah. I mean, because so much of that is luck and timing and so on. And it's not a meritocracy, right? The funniest doesn't always get the biggest gig or the biggest show or whatever. So,
well, I gotta imagine not every comedian wants to be the lead on a sitcom or have their own TV show necessarily.
Right. And it's not the right thing for everybody. Right. Like me, like I don't do characters. I don't go over the top. It's so funny at auditions when they're like, we need you to go big. And I'm like, I thought I did, and then other people are just naturally like that. So no, sitcoms aren't the venue, aren't the thing for everybody. And TV isn't always a thing for everybody. It's difficult to make it without TV, but there's certainly the people who did it. Gabe Fluffy did it. Gaffigan did it. I mean, they got TV, but by the time they got TV, they were already selling out arenas.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you enjoy when you do, because you've been on a lot of TV shows and you've been in movies, you've got a pretty extensive IMDb. Do you enjoy that, the acting side of it? Yeah, I love it. I did an episode of Dr. Phil today.
I saw that on Facebook.
Yeah, I like stuff like that. I wish I could get a job. I wish I could get the gig that would stick. I've hosted a few shows. That's where I've found my talent is hosting. In TV, they have what they call, there's two sides, scripted and unscripted. I'm better in unscripted. I'm better in panel shows, hosting shows, things like that,
just off the cuff kind of stuff
versus having a script and acting. But I love doing that. Like today we talked about white privilege, and I'm the only guy, me and there was a police officer from Little Rock, Arkansas, but we were the only two on the panel without letters after our name, and I love being invited to be that guy. And Dr. Phil was like, yeah, keep it light. We need you to break this up and not have it turn into a, heavy racist thing. And so I'm able to do that. I'm able to give opinions and be funny. I love doing that stuff. And then sometimes Jay Leno, who's always been great to me, Jay's been really cool. Jay loved throwing me in fish out of water situations. Jay had me as a correspondent at the biggest hair and makeup convention in America, in Vegas.
Why?
Because he loved the idea of me learning hair and makeup. I was getting my nails done. I got my arm waxed. I had to wear this wig headgear thing and do a runway walk. And, Jay loves shit like that. And Jay is fantastic. He's a great guy. So, yeah, I like TV appearances. Also, people see you, I mean, with all the streaming and other venues, network TV is still by far the biggest. You know what I mean? Like if you have a Netflix special, right, and you get 2 million views, that's fantastic, right? That's phenomenal.
Absolutely.
If you have a network show and 2 million people watch, you're canceled.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Only
that's
2 million? It's insane.
But do you think
we're joking about the reality shows, what is that? The dance show, 20 million people watch that.
I know.
Right?
It's crazy.
Nikki Glaser is about to be seen by more people probably than she's been seen by in the sum total of her career. And that's no disrespect toward Nikki, but now she's about to do Dancing with the Stars.
Yep.
All of America watches that.
Yeah, absolutely they do. I think that Jay Leno should have invited you to do a car show or a motorcycle show.
He does.
Instead.
He has a show called Leno's Garage, and he has me on every season.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Because we know that you're a fan of
I could see
those things.
Jay's just like finally able to do whatever the hell he wants to do in life right now.
Yeah, that's
doesn't
awesome
he?
for him.
He's doing it, isn't he?
Yeah.
We joke that there's nothing bad about being Jay Leno.
Yeah, why would there be?
Yeah.
Right.
He used to do Dorito. I remember his Doritos commercials.
Oh, did he?
Do you remember those?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. He used to do commercials for Doritos.
Jay has always been a hustler. He's always been a hustler. But the fun thing about Jay's Garage, which is his car show, is this is the show. Like, if he didn't have a show, this is what he'd be doing. Inviting friends over to play with cars and motorcycles.
So to him, it's not even a show. It's just fun for him.
That's what he does.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Just doing what he normally do, except it's getting recorded.
Yeah, exactly.
I was watching just a couple nights ago, and I knew that you were scheduled to be on the show. I was watching Fresh Off the Boat. And
yes.
Yeah, love that show, by the way.
And I yelled out to Frenzy, I'm like, hey, Alonzo's on this episode. You played you were the teacher, I think it was, in like detention or something.
Well, see, I got to tell you, Sarge, I have a long career of playing bouncer, security guard, doorman. So on this episode, I stretched and played teacher at detention. It's a completely different skill set, and I was rather proud of myself.
You were like the intimidating, imposing detention teacher.
You're like the gym teacher that does detention.
Oh, I'm sorry, Frenzy. I didn't mean to step on you.
No, that's okay.
I was going to finish the thought. Not only do I get that, now it's become more specific where Asians hire me to do this. So before I did Fresh Off the Boat, I was the bouncer at a nightclub scene on Dr. Ken, on Ken Jeong's show. And after Fresh Off the Boat, this past summer, Steve Byrne just made a movie called The Opening Act. It's about a young comic starting out, meeting an old veteran comic, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, guess who's security at the comedy club? So now, not only do I only play security, I only play security on Asian shows. So,
it's perfect.
You found your demographic.
Rich Asians too. You ain't getting in the club unless I let you in the club.
Yeah, are you in that movie?
It's total bouncer profiling.
Do you remember what your name was in that episode of Fresh Off the Boat?
No, I don't.
It was Mr. Carlson, which is my last name.
Mr. Carlson.
Which is my last name.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Which is also the stupid kicker that the Minnesota Vikings dropped last week.
Well, you know, the thing about being a kicker, I think, I don't know if you're football fans at all.
Yeah, huge.
I'd say junkies, probably.
Yeah.
You remember Bill Parcells?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Bill would cut kickers. Look up the history. Look how many kickers Bill cut on Monday. If you missed the kick, Bill cut you because he said everybody on that field killed themselves to get you in position to do one thing.
That's true.
Bill had no patience for kickers missing.
This is my...
Like, it's all you do. No excuse
That's
for you missing
job.
a kick.
This is my thing. Like, no one ever wants to spend any money on kickers, right? In the NFL, because it's always kind of like the last.
Not a lot of money.
Not a lot, but look at the Vikings Packer game last week. If we would, we drafted this kicker and traded, I think, 1 or 2 draft spots for him.
Yeah, like late round picks. But he was a 5th round draft pick, and
but still,
that's really high. No, but that's high for a kicker.
Yeah,
really high.
We drafted him.
He was a Carlson too. Son of a bitch.
That's probably why he wasn't very good.
Well,
but
historically, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go. I was just gonna say, like, the whole kicker thing. I think there needs to be more attention paid, and they need to see their payday. Like, maybe I'll start the new revolution of #kickers.
You get paid if you make kicks.
Well,
you know who used to pay their kickers and had great kickers?
Who?
The Raiders.
Ooh, really?
The Raiders had Hall of Fame punters. First, they had this, and you know, I'm a bit older than you guys, but they had a kicker named Ray Guy who went to the Hall of Fame because he could punt like 50 yards and put it right where he wanted to. And he was a weapon for, you know, putting the other team, giving them bad field position. Then they had this crazy guy named Jankowski.
Yeah.
You remember him?
Sebastian
Janikowski.
He was a booming kicker, and they paid him a lot of money. And there was another one. Wasn't he with the Colts? Like, he didn't miss a field goal for like 33 years.
Vinatieri.
They paid him a ton of money. So there are a few kickers. If you're consistent, I think that's the thing with a kicker. If you're consistent, They will pay to keep you on the team.
Oh, yeah.
How many kickers do you think there are in the Hall of Fame?
Did you know
NFL Hall of Fame?
Janikowski was a first-round draft pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he had that booming leg. It was unbelievable how he was the guy who was kicking 50-yard field goals. Like at 50 yards, you would go for the field goal if he was kicking because he had such a strong leg.
He's built. He's the size of a linebacker
in the Hall of Fame. That's a great question. I'm going to go with less than 5.
Yep, you're right with less than 5. Can you give me another number?
3.
Yep, you're right. 3 kickers.
There was a kicker that won NFL MVP. I think it was back in like 82 or 83. That strike shortened season. That strike season.
There's also a punter that is in the Hall of Fame. Three kickers and 1 punter.
Wow.
Currently.
Yeah. 1 punter. Who's that?
3 of them.
Give a shout out to that punter.
Supposedly on Google, 3 of them are very deserving and 1 is not.
Who's the punter?
The punter.
That guy's got to have pretty damn good. He's the only punter that's ever made it. Nobody gives a shit about punters.
Yeah, but if you were a punter, wouldn't you be happy that you made it?
Yeah,
to the NFL?
I'd be ecstatic.
Gives you something to shoot for.
I would tell everybody every day, everyone I ever met, if I was that dude, hey, I was a punter back in the 70s. I'm in the Hall of Fame now.
Oh, that's crazy. I don't know. I feel like that would be a huge thing. So, okay, the Hall of Fame punter is Ray Guy.
Oh,
Ray Guy.
Your guy.
I told you.
Your guy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I told you. Ray Guy. He was amazing.
Ray Guy.
He was a weapon. He was part of the offense.
What a cool
Because
name.
he would pin teams. He just was a precision kicker, at a time when it was like, what? And yeah, he was that good.
And he's 6'4", so he's got probably long, unless he's got a long torso, but he's got long legs. So that he's got like a Terminator leg. Crazy.
You're a giant man yourself. You're like, what are you, 6'4"? He's a big dude.
6'3", 6'3" plus, and way too heavy. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, that's why you're getting the bouncer roles.
Yeah, because you look tough.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I'm thinking too, and then you got the shaved head. You're an intimidating looking fella. But then I'm thinking too about, we were talking earlier about how some people mistakenly assume that you're a clean comic, and I'm thinking that's because you're such a well-spoken guy. Like you're pretty eloquent speaking guy. And so
Eddie Ift, he had me cracking up one night because I do Wait, Don't Tell Me on NPR.
Yes.
And NPR also calls me, like sometimes there's something in the news about comics or whatever, and they call me. And I've done a couple of, I did a show for the Science Channel and this and that. So Eddie came up to me one night at the Laugh Factory. He's like, you're kind of an undercover nerd, aren't you? It's like, okay, if that's what it is, yeah, I'll be that. And it's funny because we were talking about this today and talking about white privilege, right? So stereotypes run deep. So if they see a large black person, they make certain assumptions.
Yeah.
And, and the whole thing, and I've been joking about this, it is kind of an insult in the black community to say someone's so articulate, right? I mean, I'm an American. I grew up in the United States. I can speak English, right? Why is that surprising? And we always thought that articulate thing was an insult. But then 2 weeks ago, I watched Donald Trump get attacked by the word anonymous.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly I realized, articulation is not to be taken for granted.
And articulation has no color. There's people I deal with on a regular basis that do not know how to speak normally.
Yeah. And when people say things like that, for the most part, they don't mean anything by it. They don't even realize what they're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just what they say. So you can tell when they're trying to say something. One time this guy, he was trying to do this whole thing of like, yeah, Alonzo, if they don't laugh, he can just beat them up, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I do. I threaten the audience at the beginning of my set. And then if they don't laugh, I go in and beat one up. It's like, because he was trying to be an asshole, be dismissive or whatever. You know what I mean? It was something behind it.
Right.
But normally normally, you know how it is. Comics mess with each other about anything. So I'm cool with that, you know.
That's funny.
And that's the thing. Like when I say you're well spoken and eloquent, that's more not only for just any English speaking person, but comics in general. You know, like I wouldn't say the same. We know Eddie F really well. We're good friends with him, and I would not say the same thing to him. I wouldn't say
I would never. People don't know how to talk.
People would mistake you for a clean comic because you're so well spoken and eloquent. That's not the case with Eddie, but with you it is. And with a lot of comics,
and I get
that's not the case.
You know, and I get that. I wish I could get some of that eloquent money.
Right?
I'm wishing Morgan Freeman would retire or something. Let me get some of the eloquence cash.
But
big money in eloquence.
How many comedians right now, like big name, $1 million comedians right now, are like come across that way, like well spoken? And
black comedians or white comedians? What are you separate? Or does it matter?
No
any
color.
Any comedian at all.
No color? Well, obviously Seinfeld. He's the first one that came to mind.
Yeah, I suppose.
Seinfeld is a master of language, you know, and words and nuance. So he came to mind. Let me think. Who else is very good? I think Kathleen is. I think Kathleen Madigan is.
Yeah. I think with Seinfeld...
It's hard, though. It's hard, sorry, with her, because she's got that little bit of that, what is it, like, it's kind of a southern drawl.
Well, yeah, but...
No, she's just a little bit drunk when you do it. So
that's what it is.
Just a little bit drunk.
Wrong with that.
That's right.
With Seinfeld, I feel like he almost, I don't know, like it's in a way... Because my parents watched Seinfeld back when I was in high school. I remember I would buy them
that show.
Every season on DVD when it came out every year for Christmas for like 42 years till they got all of them.
Yeah.
But I just remember watching, you know, even just the show or watching a stand up, and he's very enunciated and has very good pronunciation and he could probably get a job as, what are those people that do the speaking jobs?
Like
like they're
like a motivational speaker or
a motivational speaker, or someone that actually when you're hard of hearing and they help you to understand words.
I know what you mean.
I can't think of that word, but that's what I mean.
Can you imagine him as a motivational speaker? What's the deal with depression?
And then I think, and you know, and this one only comes to mind because he's not really on my radar, but he's a great comic. John Mulaney. Somebody sent me a clip.
I agree.
True.
I agree.
Mulaney's he's a word guy. You know, there's quite a few. But thank you for that. I appreciate that. But yeah, there's a few out there. And then you have people like the other side of the coin, Louis Black, who sometimes just degrades down to a series of sounds, and yet it's still hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
That also reminds me of Bobby Lee. Bobby Lee does that.
Yeah, Bobby.
Yeah, Louis Black.
We're still struggling with Bobby keeping his clothes on. It's like,
exactly.
Bobby, please.
Some people, like Bobby Lee and Bert, like, you just gotta let them do their thing.
That's what they do.
That's their thing.
Well, you know what it is?
They're more comfortable that way.
You can always look back and see what and this is, again, I don't know this, but it's what I see. It's the next level of Belushi, right? This is the next level of Belushi. I mean, I could see Bert doing John Belushi roles in movies.
Heck yeah, I could too.
I don't want to see Bert doing like a scripted television show.
Oh, I don't think he ever would. I'm just saying.
But he wants to. He talks about it. He talks about it all the time about how he wants to have his own sitcom, his own. Is it single camera? He wants multi-camera show.
Multi-camera.
But it would weird me out if he was on a TV show.
Yeah, but you just might have to like give it some time.
Like Tom,
I don't know that
like Tom and Christina are doing a show. Tom and Christina are doing a show.
That seems weird too.
It does seem weird, but I'm excited about it.
I am too, but I don't want to see them on a TV show.
Yeah.
What if it ruins it? What if it sucks?
It could.
What if it's just a shitty?
It's very
show?
Interesting that you say that, because some people will do a show that sucks. Not their fault, whatever, just a show.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
and
to do it.
It doesn't hurt them a bit.
Yeah.
Then other people will do a show that's bad, and it's like cursed for the rest of their career.
Yeah.
Why does that happen? And they're always associated with that cursed, shitty show.
I couldn't tell you.
It's so
I honestly
weird.
couldn't. You know who we joke with about it? Do you know Tone Bell? Tone Bell, black comic, very funny, gets cast on a sitcom every season. And, you know, the shows are, you know, weird. They might make a few episodes of this or that, but it doesn't matter because Tone's going to be back next year because he's so perfect, like sitcom guy. You know, he's a black guy, but he's not intimidating. He's very good looking.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He's like you would cast him on a show. Very likable, funny, and you know, but it's like, yeah, this show didn't make it, but we'll see you next year. You know,
it's so great.
So I don't know. I don't know what that's about or why. You know, it is what it is.
Huh. So I want to break down a little bit of your history, if we can, if you're cool with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So St. Albans, New York, is where you grew up.
Yes.
That whole area.
You're in
You now live in Los Angeles now, yeah?
Okay.
Yeah, I've been in LA forever. I started my career in LA. I was already in LA when I started.
Oh,
Okay.
really?
So you didn't do anything in New York?
No. I tell people I started in LA because I didn't know I wasn't supposed to.
You hear
My first career was airplane mechanic. I went to aviation high school in New York.
Lockheed Martin.
I got hired by Lockheed Aircraft and moved to LA and worked in Burbank and did for 10 years.
Oh, interesting.
I was in the aerospace business.
So that's what brought you to California, not comedy.
Yeah.
So it's weird because we have we don't anymore, but we used to have a major Lockheed facility in Eagan, Minnesota, that closed probably 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even more than that. But they closed it down, and then this empty building sat empty for maybe 5-7 years. Just nothing was there, and it was a like prime real estate property. Like you could totally build a bunch of stuff, and obviously now they've got 6 or 7 super outlet malls that are in this spot where it used to be. But they had copper stolen from the building and stuff like that. But Lockheed Martin is like the military / aviation / guru, like
defense.
guru, like
They're
super
defense
smart
contractors.
Exactly.
And they are, they've always been a brilliant engineering company. When I worked there, and this is like 80 to 84, we were building the F-117, the first stealth fighter. The first, you couldn't be, and it was all top secret back then. And what's funny about that is now, 30 something years later, this Lockheed used to be a city. It employed 25,000 people, had its own police force, its own fire department, blah, blah, blah. It was huge.
Wow.
Now it's an airport parking lot, an airport rental car place, and a strip mall.
Really?
Like there's no indication of what used to be there,
That's so weird.
So what is
it was fun. It was a good business. And going back even farther, St. Albans, Queens, and that area of Queens, you know what it's famous for?
Homeless people?
Spider-Man.
Particularly hip-hop.
Really?
Tribe Called Quest, LL Cool J, Run DMC, Ed Lover, all from Southeast Queens, all from that area. I told my mom, I said, listen, if you had let me hang out in the park instead of go to school, we might have got some money in the family.
Oh, that totally brings me back to like my childhood listening to that music. That's funny. Tribe Called Quest, especially. Holy crap!
80s and 90s hip hop. So many artists came from that part of Queens.
That's awesome.
You were working at Lockheed Martin, and you know how to build airplanes and stuff now.
Yeah.
And can you fly an airplane?
No. I've done it a couple of times. It doesn't excite me.
What?
Could you build
I'd like to learn to fly helicopters. Burr got his helicopter.
Helicopter.
I know.
Sweet.
He's a crazy person.
And those are cool. I'd like to learn to fly a helicopter, but I never had any interest in flying a plane.
You know, one of these days, Burr's just gonna land this chopper on, like in that back parking lot of the Comedy Store, or at.
There's not enough room there. He'd have to demolish.
He'll do his arena gig. He'll just land the chopper and come out
in the middle of a football field. All right, guys, let's do this.
Let's go to the chopper.
How are you not excited by flying an airplane?
Because there's no sense of speed when you're flying an airplane.
Okay.
Because there's nothing around you to show how fast you're going.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there's no what's the word?
Velocity.
No,
no, nothing to give you a perspective of it. Nothing.
What about
you can't you could be flying. Well, when you're in a jet, you're flying at over 500 miles an hour, but all you're looking at is the sky and the clouds, so you don't realize you're going that fast.
Yeah.
If you're on a fast motorcycle, if you're doing 100 miles an hour and you look down or look next to you at the light poles or something, like it's going by at 100 miles an hour, you're like, oh shit, this is fast.
Yeah. When you're in a commercial airline and you're flying somewhere, you're looking out the window like, bitch, hurry up, this is going so slow.
Right, exactly.
Well, what about a fighter jet? That's got to feel fast.
It feels fast in the sense of you feel G forces,
right?
But you don't. But again, you don't know. You know what I mean? You don't have anything to compare it to, because even when you're flying in formation, the planes flying next to you are going just as fast as you are.
Yeah.
I have a friend who.
Now, mind you, a fighter jet. Yeah, if you're a fighter jet pilot, you're different. A badass, and that's definitely something that's cool. It's a little late for me to decide to be a fighter pilot.
Yeah, I think your time has run out for that, my friend.
Yeah. I love
but
when
you'd
they
be
tell
good at
kids
it.
you can be anything. It's like maybe not.
I think you're underestimating yourself.
If you're 6'3", you're not going to be a fighter pilot because we can't fit you in the plane.
Yeah, I have a friend who was in the Air National Guard and was a pilot and flew the C-130s over in.
Yeah, I worked on those. It's called the Hercules.
Yeah, the Hercules,
yeah,
absolutely. And they fall apart all the time, and they're super shitty, especially in Minneapolis. Like, they have, 6 of them. The
Hercs aren't shitty. Yep. They're old.
They're old, yeah.
They've been around forever.
Okay, I recall shitty.
Together.
Old.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they, I remember I went to high school with him, and I remember every 2 years they'd have to go overseas, and they'd fly it for 8 hours, and they're like, well, we'll see what happens, because it's super cold and it's super loud. But then he ended up being a pilot for Delta and was a flight instructor too, so did worked the two together, the things. But
I think it was a C-130 that I flew in when I flew from Kuwait to Iraq. I think
it might be. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Have you ever been in one? I've been in one. They're pretty crazy.
Yeah.
No seats. We just sat in nets. You just sit in netting.
You have those. Yeah, they fold out of the wall.
Yeah.
I've sat in a seat in the cockpit, nets. But not in the back.
Yeah. And it's so loud you can't hear the guy next to you, so you just go to sleep. You just take a nap.
There's no
put in earplugs and go to sleep.
Yep. I've got 10 questions for you, Alonzo. 10 questions from listeners.
I got 10 answers.
Okay.
Sweet.
Beautiful. We'll do this in rapid fire.
I'm ready.
Okay, first question. Boxers, briefs, or nothing?
Boxer briefs, actually. Sorry about the compromise, but that's the truth.
The hybrid, yes. No, I'm a boxer brief guy myself, too. It's the perfect mix.
You don't wear boxers.
Boxer briefs.
That's
what these are. These are boxer briefs.
So they're like the tighty whities, but shorts.
But they're about as long as a pair of boxers. Yeah, because boxers,
they're longer.
Boxers are worthless.
I don't know how you call them underwear.
Think more of like a compression shorts kind of thing.
Gotcha. Okay,
yeah.
I get that. Okay, with women, it's thong.
Boxers need to be eradicated from the planet. They're completely useless. There's no reason for boxers to exist.
I think there's a certain age you get to, and it's just let it hang.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Okay, question number 2. What age were you when you lost your virginity?
Oh.
I want to say 14.
Oh, yeah. Wow, overachiever.
Yeah, buddy hooked me up.
Okay, side question then. How old was the lady that you lost your virginity to?
Probably
37.
No, she was
probably
at
14.
least 51. No, I'm kidding.
I was gonna say his buddy hooked him up with
No,
like
she
a
was
prostitute.
also 14, same age.
Okay, so nothing illegal happened there.
No,
That's good.
I was going to say, he's not a creeper.
Nobody took it. No, he was 14. No older lady took advantage of poor young Alonzo.
Let me tell you something.
If they tried to, he probably would let them.
No older lady has ever taken advantage of a young man, all right?
Yeah,
if you're
that's true.
14, 15 in middle school and your hot 30-year-old teacher wants to bang you,
That's
it's
true.
a beautiful day.
That's true.
Yeah,
Nobody.
why would you say no to that? That's
Nobody
ridiculous.
feels sorry for that 14-year-old high school boy.
It's so
that banged
funny
his
because
teacher.
this is one of the things where, yeah, there truly is a double standard and
Yeah.
it really is real.
Yeah.
A 30-year-old woman with a 15-year-old boy is not the same as a 30-year-old man with a 15-year-old girl.
Nope,
It's
it's
just
not.
not the same. So,
No.
the boy is not going to be scarred for life. What he's going to have is a great story that will guarantee he will never have to pay for a beer.
Oh yeah.
He will also have such confidence for the rest of his life.
There's
It's just setting him up for success.
Yeah, he just walks in, hey, man, tell the story. I'll buy you a beer.
Yeah.
Tell me
Yep.
again. Tell me again what it was like.
no trauma. Nothing.
He's good. He's totally good to go.
But if females had a history of creepiness and sexual aggression like men did, then there wouldn't be that double standard, unfortunately.
Right, but the other thing that seems funny, and again, I'm going to get hit by the sexist police and all that about that. But the
whatever.
teachers who do this, they seem pretty hot. You know what I mean? They're relatively
They're always hot.
It's
They're
not
usually
like-
always hot.
Yeah, the female
they're not
teachers.
hideous.
What's with that?
Yeah, it's not like some old lady who's like, hey, if you want to get an A, you're going to have to blah, blah. It's like, no, these teachers are hot. They're women I think they're usually
It's
in
because-
their 30s and they look great.
It's because they're
okay,
crazy.
yeah, I want to
they're-
pass math.
They're crazy. That's why.
Yeah, I agree. They're definitely something's off.
Yeah.
They have the crazy
well, it
eyes. You
starts
can
the
see
kid on
them.
to a lifetime of psychos, which would qualify him to be a comic. Moving on. Next
Perfect.
question.
Perfect.
Okay. Number 3. What is the worst fight you've ever gotten into? Like actual physical fight?
When I was a little kid, I fought a girl, and I always felt bad about that.
Did you win?
Yeah, I did win,
Okay,
but
good.
it wasn't a good W.
You sound
I
like
was
my
about-
neighbor.
I was about 8 or 9 years old, and it was the schoolyard, and she hit you, you're gonna hit blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really a fight; it was a hit. But I always felt horrible about that.
You know what? When I was that age, pretty much all the girls were bigger than me back then.
Well, that's why it happens. I think in elementary school,
Yeah.
But it was still, it was shitty of me. And
I can
wherever
confirm.
you are, I think her name was Laurie Krantz. Wherever you are, I apologize.
Lori, we're sorry. Alonzo, sorry. I can confirm that when I was in 3rd grade, I got in a fight with my neighbor kids because they were always bullies to me, and I rode my big wheel around the block. And for some reason, they decided that it was a good idea to let's have a fist fight, or let's find out who owns the alley. So I was like, go ahead and punch me in the stomach. Go ahead and do it. And they punched me. This kid was fat, super fat too, by the way. He was probably in 6th grade and I was maybe in 7th grade. He punched me in the stomach so hard, I got the wind knocked out of me, and I was like, I'm good. I couldn't even breathe. And I was just like, whatever, dude. You didn't do anything to me. Bye.
I wish me and you were friends when we were kids. Because
we would have been
if
good
you
friends.
if you were rolling around the block on a big wheel, I'd be like, that's one bad.
I had a
chick.
Knight Rider big wheel.
That wow,
Knight Rider.
Yeah. I would have.
cool.
I would have wanted to know you when I was a little
Yeah,
kid.
I know. I know.
I see that pretty little blonde-headed girl down the street riding her Knight Rider big wheel.
With the orange brake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you had an e-brake on that thing.
Oh, yeah. Totally had an e-brake. I would whip shitties all day long.
That's awesome.
We were talking about the other side of that. When do you become too old to fight? What's your answer?
Well, I mean, obviously it's situation based. I mean, if you're defending yourself or your family,
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm
but-
talking about getting into a fight. I'm not talking about protecting your family.
I'm going to say 19. Just because
yeah.
you maybe 21 at the very latest, because you actually get to have alcohol legally and usually alcohol is what creates the drama and the fighting.
Yeah, as soon as you're allowed to drink alcohol, you're no longer allowed to fight.
Yeah, but then it's like...
I put it at about 27, 28 because, I'm being generous. But in your 20s, right, that's when you do that. You do the stupid drinking, you get drunk, you get into a fight.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If you're 32 and you got into a fight, you're an idiot.
You know
what I mean? Like, what the hell is wrong with you?
Exactly.
Fighting in public.
Another one, too, is if age, regardless of age, as soon as you have children, that's probably the time to stop fighting.
You got to knock it off.
Oh, yeah.
You can't get into a bar fight and go home to your children.
No. But nobody feels good about getting into a bar fight and going home and be like...
No, you do in your early 20s. When you're testing your manhood, or like you said, 18, 19, whatever.
Yeah.
Also, because at that age, you heal by Monday.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
You heal in like 12 hours.
Like Wolverine when you're in your 20s. You
can do it because it's like, I'll be all right. At 29, when you get punched in the eye, you're going to miss a couple of days' work.
Yeah, it's not good. I've actually had that happen to me when I was probably 24.
You punched?
I punched somebody and someone punched me.
God damn.
Well, because they were being
Scrapper.
rude. But I called in sick to work and I had a black eye. And you should have seen the other person. They had like 2 black eyes, but
she's dead.
But looking
they
back,
still haven't found the body.
But looking back on that, like that's so gross that I even was a part of that.
Well, you know what's shitty?
Bachelorette party that got out of hand.
What sucks about that for you, especially, is that if you did go to work the next day, if anyone saw that black eye, they're like, "Oh, her boyfriend hit her."
Oh yeah, probably.
They're not going to think that
absolutely.
You beat some chick up in the back parking lot after drinking all night.
I had a friend. He took his girlfriend snowboarding.
Uh-oh.
She face planted, right?
Mm-hmm.
2 black eyes. Oh. And he got pulled over by the police on the way home, like randomly. And he was just like,
Shut up.
this is not going to go well.
What?
Oh, no.
That's crazy.
The only thing that saved him was like he was close enough to Mammoth, to the ski mountain, that the story was believable. You know what I mean? It's like,
how
was
funny.
He by Big Bear, kind of up there?
Yeah, Mammoth is. It's Central California.
I've skied in Big Bear before.
How funny would it be if his girlfriend was a girlfriend, right?
She's like,
if she decided to just fuck with him a little bit and start
there wouldn't be
faking that she's crying.
Cop,
I'm trying to get away from him.
Just be subtle about it, have have your eyes start welling up a little bit, look like you're scared, make little gestures to the police officer like you're in distress, but don't actually admit that. Say anything. Don't actually say my boyfriend punched me in both my eyes.
Well, here's kind of a funny, interesting topic. So if you're a female that is somewhat attractive, like you don't have to be hot, you can be like somewhat attractive, I guess.
Like a 6,
like a Chicago 6 or
what does that mean?
An Iowa 9.
What does that even mean?
And a Chicago 6, an Iowa 9.
Trust me on this. Let her keep talking. Anything you say is only digging a hole deeper for yourself.
No, and I'm not saying anything bad about that. I'm just saying, like, as far as women go, they can be evil and manipulative and gross about stuff. And
really? I've never ever experienced that. Go on.
Haven't?
Go on.
That's weird. But this is a thing, and the gross thing about it is that those women choose to actually do that and be gross. Like use their I'm hot. This guy was totally trying to like get in my pants and I didn't want him to, or whatever it may be. And that your friend with the driving through Mammoth and she had the 2 black eyes, if she was like not a nice person, she could have been like, he totally like beat me and whatever.
So you're saying if she was unattractive, the cop wouldn't have cared that she had 2 black eyes?
Yes.
Wow.
That's what I'm saying. It's true. It's totally true.
I didn't know that was a standard.
It is a standard because
okay.
as a woman, if you're not attractive,
just don't beat up the pretty ones. That's the rule.
Are you sitting there telling me that it's okay to hit unattractive women? And I want to make this very clear. I did not say that.
No, I am not saying it's okay to hit any person, male or female. But
Sarge,
if an unattractive woman is hit,
Yeah, let's speaking of question
let's
number
find
4.
another question quick.
Question number 4. What is your biggest phobia?
That's a good question. What is my biggest phobia? I got to think about that. I can't think off the top of my head what's a natural phobia.
Like
spiders or a bat
No,
flying in
kidding.
your hair?
peanut butter?
No, I'm good with peanut butter.
Like
Critters? Like if you,
I'm not a big fan. Critters are annoying, but not necessarily scary. I probably don't like rats. Rats are, but I don't know if it's a phobia. Nobody well, that's not true. Some people do like rats. I knew a girl who had pet rats. It was weird, but no, I don't know. I know what you mean. Like I don't have a fear of heights or a fear of elevators or claustrophobia, or anything like that. So, I don't know.
nothing particularly weird or really
Nothing I can think of.
notable.
No.
Okay, all right, fair enough. All right, question number 5. Favorite vacation spot?
That is the wrong question to ask a comic.
One
never
spot.
go on vacation.
What's what's one of your favorite places to go to?
We don't vacation, but I would say, well, my vacations are motorcycle related. That's when I don't book work. If I'm going to a motorcycle race or a big ride or something like that. So that's my favorite thing to do is get on a bike and just get away. Favorite places would be Montreal and the Saints of the Caribbean. Any St. Thomas, St. Martin, St. Bart.
yeah.
If there's a saint in front of it, I like it.
Yeah, I've been to. I got hit by a pickup truck in St. Martin one time.
See, that's not
He was
doing it
drunk
right.
and wasted.
I was crossing the street. That's all I was doing. I got hit by an S10 filled with about 15 or 20 St. Martin residents, locals.
That's so racist.
Literally.
You're
No,
so
you did that.
racist.
There was about 20 of them
You
in an
shouldn't
S10.
go back. You don't know.
I loved it there.
So I would like to know your Canada experiences, because we're in Minnesota. Like, we're pretty close to Canada.
Canada has been a favorite of mine since I first did Just for Laughs 21 years ago. And I probably fell in love with Montreal then. Just for Laughs has been good to me. I have toured Canada from one end to the other, I don't know how many times. Like, I've worked in Canada so much I've paid taxes in Canada. Canadians are the nicest people. They're sharp. They have a great sense of humor. Canada is, one year we were joking. I was doing a show in Winnipeg, and Winnipeg was the murder capital of Canada. Do you know how many people got killed in a year?
Like 4.
Probably 2.
16.
Oh,
That was the murder capital. It was like, that's a morning in Detroit.
Yeah.
It is, but that's the way Canada is. Like, Canada has this common sense about things. And I joke about it all the time, like Canadian healthcare. Like, it's like, they were like, yeah, people are getting sick, so we should probably take care of them. And that was it. There was no, you're a socialist, you're no good, Jesus hates you, blah, blah, blah. No, they were just like, yeah, we can work out a system. They're like, guns. Yeah, we'll use guns for hunting animals.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of a shooting and crime problem coming up in Toronto because it's their biggest city, and they're really outraged over it. They have the proper outrage for a public or a mass shooting.
They really seem to have a sweet gig going on up there, Canada.
Oh, it's great. It's great. People, the world likes them. Except with hockey. That's the only thing. They are psycho about hockey.
yeah, they're super
We
crazy.
think we're football fans, but compared to their love of hockey, we have a casual interest in football.
Well, you think about all like the European countries that are just nuts about soccer.
Well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I do have to say,
People die over soccer. Over
yeah,
there.
they do.
And crazy people everywhere. New York,
Yeah.
residents in New York, they just don't have time for your shit. They don't have time to like. They
got other
places,
things to do.
They
Well,
got
that's
places
what
to
I-
be.
that's what I've always
That's
said.
why I think there's a
And
stereotype.
the other
there.
thing about New York is because it's so crowded, people fight for their individual space.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Very
Why wouldn't
protective.
you?
It's like, yeah, these 3 feet around me, you enter these 3 feet, you're on your own.
It's like rat. For lack of a better term, it's like rats in a box. You know, everyone's.
I have my French bulldog that's super cute, and I'm pissed off because I have to go take him downstairs to go piss on this fake grass, and you're in my way because you're a tourist. So go fuck yourself. Like, that's kind of. But then also, like, on the subway, they'd give up a seat for you if you had a kid with you, which happened to me.
If you're pretty.
Yeah, it wasn't because I was pretty. It's because I had a kid with me.
Okay. Question number 6.
Next question.
If you had to perform, if you could only perform at one comedy club for the rest of your life, which one would you choose?
Laugh Factory in Hollywood.
Oh,
really?
How come? What do you love about
turf? I love that place.
I suppose you basically got your start there, and you hear so many stories about comedians who have risen to a level like you have, who get their start as like a doorman at a
Yeah. Well, it's very common to get that gig, right? At the Comedy Store, which isn't really my spot, but at the Comedy Store, that was one of the rites of passage. Mitzi made him work the door, well, you saw I'm Dying Up Here. You saw how it was.
Right.
You worked the door or you worked the office or something. That's how you did it.
Yeah. Okay. So the Laugh Factory, and number 7. If you pick one kind of up-and-comer comedian, if you could pick one up-and-comer comedian for us to kind of be on the lookout for, that you think good things are coming for, if you could name one person, who would that be?
Oh, man, that's a tough one because there's so many.
It's hard to pick one, I know.
Yeah. And, I hosted New Faces this year, so I just saw a bunch of comics that I think are going to make some noise. But I'm going to go with a homer. I'm going to give it to a friend. No, I'm going to give you 2 names of 2 friends that I love that are working and I think are going to be something. Liz Mealy out of New York and Mal Hall out here in L.A.
Okay. Question number 8. How much can you bench?
Now probably 200. I peaked at like 350, but that was a long time ago.
Damn.
Like I said, that was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. All right. So you've got one more question, Sarge. I have
2
one more. So 2 more. So it's going to actually be 11.
Okay.
What is so you're a Gemini, right?
Yes.
You are a horoscope person, kind of. You posted some Gemini stuff on your Facebook. Yeah.
I noticed things that seemed to be like, that seems accurate, or they're either accurate or really funny. But anyway, go ahead. They're
usually, I feel like, somewhat accurate, or do you think it's because you want to believe that it's accurate?
The daily horoscopes, those are just general, so that's accurate for anybody. But no, I think some of the personality traits are accurate, but I don't know how much how much does it depend on where the moon was when you were born? I don't know. But maybe it does. Maybe there's something to it. I can't dismiss it. So like I say, I noticed some funny accuracies. Yeah.
I agree with you. So for Gemini men, they are imaginative and can think out of the box and come up with practical and innovative solutions or recommendations. As the attention span is very limited, Gemini zodiac man may not be very good at doing in-depth analysis and focusing on minute details. This may become a major block in his path when he wants to reach great heights in life. Do you think that's you?
Yeah, that's pretty accurate. I mean, we achieve. Geminis are achievers because I think our minds work very quick.
Yes.
So that problem solving thing. But yeah, to sit and focus on one thing is difficult. That's why I haven't written a book. I've written the first page of 6 books. But, to sit down and do things like that, yeah, that's difficult. But problem solving, I was a mechanic. That's what the job is, right? And the mind works quick. I love doing crowd work. I love being in the moment.
Yeah.
So I'd say all that's accurate. And the other thing, the difficulty with committing is relationships. You know, I've never been married.
Restless.
I'm married to comedy, but part of that is, relationships are a challenge for a Gemini, I think.
Why do you think that is?
because it is a focus, and the other thing is because your partner has to be able to keep up with your mind switches and your mood changes.
Yeah.
Or at least realize that it has nothing to do with you. I heard this guy. It was a great line. I'll always remember it. He said he'll be sitting in a den or something, and he's just angry, and his wife comes in, and he's like, "What's wrong?" He said, "It has nothing to do with you, but if you stay in this room, it'll be your fault."
I love that so much. Well, so I'm a Cancer. I'm the next sign. I'm the next sign after you.
There's my phobia.
The Cancer
women.
Cancer women are brutal.
Yeah.
But like, so you've got the impatience and the restlessness, kind of always on the move, right? You love adventure and you love to switch shit up. And you love to be in the company of people that kind of like want to be interested in you.
Yeah, even though I don't think of it that way.
No, you don't. I'm not saying that you're like being cocky or like that you like need that, but that's just kind of without thinking about it. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, you could say that. I would accept that as accurate. And you don't need to follow like a fixed pattern of thinking or a routine, right?
No.
Yeah, see, the zodiac shit is creepy.
Sometimes it can seem eerily.
It does, like, but it's also close. Like, is that what you like think about yourself, or is that how other people perceive you? Like the whole zodiac thing, I think is super interesting to me. Just as far as
sometimes you can kind of make it fit for you too. Yeah. You know,
you can, but I also.
There's some vague descriptions out there. But,
can you guess what Sarge's sign is?
No, I'm no good at that. I don't know how people do that.
He's a Leo. He's a lion. So he's
damn right.
He's
goddamn right I am.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, take it down a notch, Sarge.
Okay, sorry.
See, this is why you can't tell people these things, because they start running with them.
I thought there was a younger male trying to encroach on my pride for a second there.
There's no. I mean, if anything, there's a Rhodesian Ridgeback that's going to take you down. Those are lion hunter dogs, by the way.
One of those. I want one of those. They're so badass.
It's so funny
those
today at work.
Badass dogs, right?
Right?
Okay, let's move on. Question 9. Have you ever been arrested?
Once.
Did you spend time in jail?
What happened?
No, it was just overnight for possession of a controlled substance, and they dropped the charges because my substance wasn't really controlled.
Was it
I was
pot?
just kind of wrong place, wrong time, police sweep situation.
That's stupid.
Was it weed?
Possession of a controlled substance.
Weed's not like
no,
cocaine.
Not weed's
so
not
it was
controlled
cocaine.
substance.
No, it was something more. It was cocaine.
It was cocaine. Okay.
It was in the 80s.
Yeah, cocaine was huge in the 80s. Like
it was big.
I should have grown up in the 80s.
You get coke up your nose on accident in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, they said that some clubs used to pay comics in cocaine.
So what you did was
really?
Oh yeah, I've heard those stories.
Like where?
So there's one very notorious club that paid comics in pretty much cocaine.
Why are you being so weird about saying the name?
One, I can't remember the name, but I know there's one, and I'm sure Alonzo's pretty...
Well, the guy in Kansas City who died recently at I can't remember the name of the club, but that was one of his reputations. I don't know if it was true. I never worked there, but yeah, it was a thing.
I love how you just like snored, like you just like inhaled your nose while you were thinking about it. Memories.
So what happened was you went to buy some cocaine, but somebody screwed you, and it was like flour or something.
Exactly.
And then you got arrested. Oh, thank God that guy screwed you, right?
Yep.
That's awesome. You're like, I learned my lesson, never doing that shit again.
It's funny you mention that, but yeah, I've been clean and sober ever since.
Nice.
30 years.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. 100%. Nothing. No alcohol, nothing.
Completely retired.
Wow.
That's awesome. Good for you.
Trust me, I did my share back in the day, so I'm all right. I don't feel like I'm missing anything because I never got to drink a Zima.
Oh, with a Jolly Rancher in it? That's what we did in Minnesota.
I knew you were going to say that. Chicks in Minnesota did that That's who did that. There was none of my dude friends were drinking Zima at all.
Well, you had one
Much
friend
less putting a
apparently,
Jolly
because
Rancher
everyone
in it.
I went to high school with did it.
The dudes didn't do it.
Well, I'm also 4 years older than you, so
The dudes did it. Guys did that.
everyone did it.
What? Okay,
They probably did it just to get laid by chicks.
I was gonna say the guys.
Yeah, they did it because she did it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh no, babe! I
How
totally
many
love
bad
Zima.
decisions have started that way? Well, she'll like you if you.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
love
which is
Zima.
unfortunate because, like, just be you and like each other for you. But that doesn't happen when you're 17, 18 years old, unfortunately.
All right. Final question.
Final answer. Let's do it.
Best place to bury a body.
No, there's still one more after this.
You already asked yours. didn't you?
No,
You mean
No.
you want to get rid of one?
Yes,
Yeah, if you're trying to get rid of a body, best place.
Nevada.
in the desert.
Is there any room in the desert? There's so
There's
many.
so much.
You got to go
room.
north. You can't. Vegas is all full, but you go
Yeah.
north in the middle of Nevada. Between
gonna
Vegas
say.
and Reno, you got nothing but a few, space aliens flying overhead.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
so
just dump
many-
them out there.
so
I don't
many
even know if you have to
deadfuckers.
bury them on some of those roads. You just leave them by the side. Nobody will
suppose,
ever,
yeah. The
Just
vultures.
drop 'em off.
Vultures will get them. Yeah.
Or in Missouri might be like the next place, the Ozarks. Like we had Kevin Johnson on from that show.
Yeah, that's pretty much where they'll bury you. You don't know who's living up in those hills.
right.
Ooh, what about like
Here's the thing.
the?
If you're a black person, you ain't got no business in the Ozarks. You go to the Ozarks, whatever happens to you, well, you were looking for a problem.
Yeah. Yeah. What about in like the Everglades? Just throw them out in the swamp, and then the gators can get them.
Just read the news about Florida. You really want to be going down there?
I don't want to go to Florida.
Anything could happen in Florida. As
Yeah,
a matter of
Florida.
fact, I was at Side Splitters in Tampa back in August, and there was a headline: "Man rapes an alligator," and I was like,
What?
That sounds about right.
how do you make it rape? Like, what, is there consensual sex with an alligator? Is there something that he did that made it? You know what I mean? It was the craziest thing.
That's
Yeah,
so
he
weird.
raped an alligator. Well, that's drawing the line, because normally you take them out for some fish and they're willing
Yeah.
to, put out.
Well,
Yeah,
maybe
I
it's he had to. Maybe it's because he had to drug the thing. Because there's no way you're raping a fully conscious and aware alligator. He's not gonna just. He's not just giving it up to anybody if he's fully alert.
Maybe-
So you could, the Everglades would be a place to dump a body, but it seems like it'd be a lot of trouble to get there versus Nevada, where you could just drive along the highway and stop.
Well, alligators,
Right here.
they tend to drown their prey and save them for later.
But it's already dead. It's already a dead.
Yeah,
hook.
but if it's not dead and they forget to come back or they die between...
no, it's a dead hooker. Like they die easy.
No, but if I'm saying if the alligator dies, like they take the prey and they pin it underneath the log
Yeah.
and save it for later.
Yeah.
And then for some reason that alligator dies, that body's gonna pop up out of the water.
Some other gator will find it.
I don't agree. 'Cause
You don't
they're-
think so?
I don't think I think they're kind of like needy.
All right, you know what? We're gonna get a gator on the show to debate this question.
That's right.
We're
You're
gonna
going to find
get
out.
We're gonna get to the bottom of it.
Do you know what the difference between a crocodile and a gator is?
Yeah.
I used to, but I don't anymore.
Gators,
Nose.
crocodiles have the longer snouts.
the snout.
Also,
Right.
crocodiles will chase your ass. They chase stuff. Gators just sit there. They do that one big death lunge. One big death lunge, and as long as you get away from that death lunge, they're not coming after you. They won't chase you. But a crocodile, they'll come after you. That's where you get that bob and weave thing. Like if you're getting chased, you're not getting chased by a gator. You're getting chased by a crocodile. That's where you got to
I'll
do
tell
the
you this,
slalom.
you'll find out how fast you are when you're chased by a crocodile.
Yeah, I'd rather.
You have a gear that you didn't know you had.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd rather test my my speed on a lion or a tiger
No,
or
what?
a hippopotamus.
No, they'll catch you right away.
Yeah, that's
A
fine.
crocodile's not going to catch you.
Hippos
Hippos
are
are
actually the most
evil.
dangerous animal
Yes.
in jungle.
They are gross.
Yeah, isn't that weird? Like, who's fucking with
Yeah.
hippos all the time? That they keep
That's the
getting
thing.
jacked?
You know. Oh, I saw the funniest show. Animal shows, and I used to do a
Love
bit about
them.
this. And this is after I donated the kidney to my brother. We're sitting there watching TV in recovery, right? and there's nothing to watch. So we're watching animal shows. This hippo show came on, and they always set up animal shows the same way, right? Like why the animal's deadly and what you do and this and that. So they're talking about hippos. They're like, I think it was like they have the skin of an elephant. They can hold their breath for like, I don't know, 10 minutes underwater or something like that. And they can run at like 20, 25 miles an hour. It's basically like more of an assault vehicle than an animal. You know what I mean? It's like it's an amphibious assault weapon. And they said, you never would be on the hippo trail. They said hippos spend a day in the water. And then when it cools off, they walk this trail to where they feed, right? Big grasses and trees and stuff. And they showed the trail. It looks like a road because the hippos just walking on it have cleared all vegetation, everything, right? And they're like, because if you're on a hippo trail, anything could happen. So they come back from commercial. It was so funny. And they show this guy sitting there, right? And he's only got one arm. And you know what he's about to say? I was on the hippo trail. It was like, yes, you were, you idiot. Well, they set it up so perfect. They're like, come back from commercial, one-armed guy. First thing he says, I was on the hippo trail. And we were like, yes, you were.
Damn.
You are an idiot.
Bit his arm
so
off.
Funny. Well, hippos...
This is what they do, like talking about the alligators. Hippos grab you and drown you. They pull you underwater because they can hold their breath for a really long time.
Super long time.
So he actually escaped by losing his arm. Like it bit his arm off, and that's how he escaped. Otherwise, he'd have been drowned.
But the crazy thing is with hippos, they're only territorial like that when they're in the water. When they're on land, they're not territorial at all. And they also have... You just can't get close to them. They don't care about you, but if you come within what especially they consider a protected distance, then they go crazy, and they're so fast for something that big that you're dead unless you have a friend next to you who you can push in the path. Right. Like, just like...
I'm never
like,
hitting the hippo trail alone. I'm hitting the hippo trail with a guy who doesn't know anything about the hippo trail.
Yes.
Well, and it's also weird. They secrete an oil that is red, and people have in the past have mistaken it as
out of
blood.
Where? Out of what?
Out of their skin. It looks like it. Like people say they sweat blood, but it's not blood.
That's creepy.
It's an oily substance that's red.
Right, and they have those little birds that they clean their teeth. Right, the birds can.
I was just gonna say, like, why do they let the birds just chill on?
Because it's a symbiotic relationship. Like,
but I
let you chill on me, and you clean the parasitic bugs and shit, bacteria off of my body.
Right, but the red oily stuff that they consider blood is actually a moisturizer, like
that's
Dove lotion.
Wow.
And then it's also a sunblock, and it provides protection against germs too. Like, it's like they produce this thing naturally that helps protect them from like 4 or 5 different things. It's crazy.
Living in LA, I have no doubt you could sell hippo oil.
We should start that. I'm going to start it on Etsy.
You could sell it as boner juice. People would believe it. Oh, yeah, this will get your dick hard. Hippo sweat.
Ew.
People believe anything, especially if they think it'll get your dick hard. And it's from some weird source. Oh yeah.
And totally hippos are kind of like seals, where they like bask on the shoreline and whatever, but they also secrete this weird oily red substance that's always been portrayed as blood.
So it's just like they just do it throughout the day. It's not in a particular instance, like if they're angry or
they literally just secrete this oil that is reddish in color. But an adult hippo, if they're in the water, they need to resurface like every 3 to 5 minutes.
Can you imagine if you could do that, if that was your superpower? You're a human being, and like you're about to get in a bar fight and you didn't want to fight the dude, you just could start sweating blood. There's no way that dude wants to fight you.
Well, yeah, and
unless
I get
he's
it.
19.
Yeah,
and drunk.
Okay, I've got I have 2 would you rather questions. All right, let's wrap this up. All right, would you rather have to wear high heels 24 hours a day for the rest of your life, or the only music that you ever hear is I Get Knocked Down by Chumbawamba? That means every time you turn on the radio, Chumbawamba. Anytime you hear a song in a movie, you hear Chumbawamba. Everyone else hears the normal song. You hear Chumbawamba.
I think I'm going to have to suffer through Chumbawamba.
I agree with you.
I've
worn high heels.
Now, I know women, I know women who they live in heels all day, every day anyway. There's no,
Chumbawamba, dude, you get so sick of that song. I'd kill myself. I would not be able to listen to Chumbawamba.
You would not be able to wear high heels. Like, you don't even understand how fucking bullshit that is.
You would just have to emit music from your life. That would be something that you no longer get to enjoy. Music's over for me.
I would make myself deaf, I think.
Oh, that would suck. Okay, one more. Would you rather French kiss Joe Rogan for 1 minute or never ride a motorcycle again?
Man.
This is my question, by the way.
Figured that'd be the hardest one.
Sadistic bastard. If Joe's willing to shave,
question, not
he's
Sarge's.
a good-looking man. He's a good-looking man. But he's going to have to shave. That stubble, I just don't. No, that's a little friction I don't need.
This is a French kiss. This is tongue for 1 minute.
I understand what you're saying, but I can't give up motorcycles.
I had a feeling that's where you're going to go. Those motorcycles are too important.
I hope they don't just cut that snippet from the podcast. I got to explain this to Joe.
That's all you're going to get.
Yeah. Can you say, I want to kiss Joe Rogan for 1 minute? Can we get that sound?
You just did.
Alonzo, thank you so much for sharing your time with us tonight, man. This has been great.
Yes,
it was fun, guys.
You.
Nice cyber pod meeting you.
Yes,
and, let's get together and do this again same time next year, or if I make Minneapolis.
Yes.
Or we come to LA. We were just there like a couple of months ago.
I think we're gonna have to
hit me up if you're in town. Yeah, definitely.
I think we're gonna have to try to get him at House of Comedy. I think that needs to happen.
Well, we could arrange that.
Yeah.
If you know somebody, mention my name.
All right.
All right, we'll do.
Awesome. Thanks again, man.
Thank you.
All right, you guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.